All right, good morning. I am going to read this article by Tom Nixon that has very much changed my life over the past few years. I don't know how much of a preamble I want to give right now. I might just leave that for comments as I read. I might wait till the end. I might even make a whole nother video and just let this one be a read. I'm not sure. I haven't read this article in years, but when I did read it originally, again, a few years ago, it crystallized for me an idea, a feeling that I had had for many, many years about money and my own relationship to money. And reading it sent me down a path that I've been on ever since. It has made a big impact on my own money life, my work, the experiences I've had, where my attention has been and what I've been thinking about most of the time. So I wanted to revisit this now that I'm beginning to share more of what I've been doing and thinking about in those past few years. So yeah, this is Tom Nixon, Millionaires and the Surprising Truth About Their Money Worries. We've all heard the old cliche, money can't buy you happiness. There's much more to it than that. It goes to the root of who you want to be, who you are hiding from, and to the fundamental nature of money itself. Drawing on 30 years of research into the human relationship to money, led by Peter Koenig, I coach people from millionaires to the skint on how they can better understand money and themselves to fulfilling creative lives. Here's what I know. Meet the millionaires. Let me introduce you to two millionaires. Jeff, not his real name, is a millionaire. When we met, he told me about the days building up to becoming rich, how the concept of being a millionaire is a cultural totem. Look at her, she's a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. What would you do if you were a millionaire? And so on. So like many people, Jeff dreamed of becoming a millionaire. And unlike most people, he actually did. He started a company, it became successful, and he sold it, netting himself a few £1,000,000. He recalled the moment that money finally got wired into his bank account. He was traveling on a train, checking his bank balance on a mobile app. Suddenly, all those zeros. He was a millionaire. Then Jeff looked around. The world was still turning just as it was before. And despite those zeros, Jeff was still Jeff. Becoming a millionaire sent him into a depression that only lifted when the company began to fail under its new leadership, and he regained a sense of purpose, working to get it back on track. We then talked about the new company he'd recently started. I asked him what that project was all about for him personally. 2 things, he told me. Firstly, unfinished business. The previous company, whilst financially successful, hadn't realized the creative vision it had started with, and he still had an itch to scratch. There was more potential to explore. That sounded healthy to me. The creative pursuit of realizing a worthwhile idea is a great way to spend your life. How about number 2? Commercial validation, he said. I replied, having never heard the expression before. What does that mean? Jeff squirmed awkwardly. It means this time I need it to sell for 100 million. The currency doesn't even matter. It's all about the zeros. If this had been Silicon Valley, not London, it would almost have certainly been $1 billion. Why 100 million? Jeff told me there's a club of successful entrepreneurs in the 100 million club. Jeff wanted to be in that club. That represented something to him. I pointed out that if a few £1,000,000 had sent him into depression, then what might 100 million do? I was genuinely fearful for him if he made that sort of cash, because I had no sense he'd really dealt with whatever was going on beneath the surface. I know, Jeff said. He's not stupid. In fact, he has a razor-sharp mind. But I still want the 100 million. Jeff's personal money life story is, of course, different to most of us. But the fundamentals of his relationship to money are almost certainly exactly the same as yours and mine. Now let me introduce you to Laura. Her story reveals the deeper truth about the nature of money and our relationship to it. Laura, again, not her real name, has the sort of wealth where you get to live in a very large house in a very exclusive area in the home counties outside London. There are very nice cars parked outside. The kids are at very expensive schools. There's a lot of very in Laura's life. She has served on the boards of several FTSE 100 companies. Her talent has made her a winner in the corporate world, and she has the trappings of wealth to show for it. Laura has her own company with a mixture of creative and financial goals. The most prominent financial goal is the company's build-up towards a liquidity event sometime in the future. This is when the hard work will turn into lots of cash for the people involved. We talked in a pub, and I challenged Laura on the goals. If she already has a great deal of wealth, then why such a focus on making more money? What if the goals were all creative instead, and she got money working in a way that would support realizing the goals, not as an end in itself? Surely, she could get even more satisfaction working towards seeing a fulfilling, creative vision come to life. Like Jeff, Laura also squirmed a bit and said, "Well, I need the money. I have earned a lot, but it just kind of goes, doesn't it?" She mumbled something about having expenses. I knew I was getting somewhere and asked Laura what she thought money was. This is the heart of the matter for everyone, rich or poor. Laura's answer was typical of someone playing in the corporate or entrepreneurial world. Money is freedom, she said. It's success and it's security. And money is an enabler. As you read that, ask yourself if you agree. Is money those things to you? Or is it something else? As we sipped our drinks in the pub, Laura and I continued to talk about the nature of money. Then something wonderfully revealing happened. Laura leaned in and almost in a whisper into my ear said, "But of course, Tom, we all know that money's a bit dirty, isn't it?" This little throwaway comment told me a great deal about Laura's relationship to money, something completely unconscious. She spoke the words like it was a simple truth, and it was the truth. Yet the key thing is that it was her truth. It was nothing to do with money. What money really is. Laura, Jeff, me, and you all have our own little collection of stories about what we think money is. Ask a room full of people. I do this at money workshops with small groups, and you can quickly fill a chalkboard with answers. You can see here: debt, enabling, status, embarrassing, buffer, currency, time, power, stressful, cushion, treats, self-importance, opportunity, paper, useful, security, possessions, means of exchange, barrier, tricky, enabler of generosity, greed, trust, stressful. These are all answers from participants of a workshop that Tom hosted around money. Some of them are positive, like success, security, and freedom. Others are negative, like dirty, or the root of all evil. Some are complete opposites. Money is freedom to some and a trap to others. Money is fun or boring. Do some people just not get it and fail to understand money? Is money contextual, showing up as different things in different situations? Or perhaps money is all of those things, or none of them? The answer is far more individual. Whatever stories you have about money are what money becomes for you, for as long as you are attached to those stories. If you believe money is security, then that's how it shows up in your life. You feel more secure when money is around and less secure when it isn't. To you, the idea that money is security feels like a deep truth, obvious, unquestionable. Yet, it's personal to you. I've met plenty of people with next to no money who feel perfectly secure. For them, money has nothing to do with it. At the same time, there are many insecure billionaires. Money has no fundamental nature, good or bad. It has no will of its own to do or be anything. Money simply becomes for us whatever we think it is. And there are practically unlimited number of stories we can tell about it. Our stories about money are stories about ourselves. Every one of the stories you hold about money is a story about yourself. Think of them as identities, like characters you play in your life. Show me someone who thinks money is freedom, and I'll show you someone who wants to be free. You think money is an enabler? That means you want to be enabled. Money is like a mirror, showing you who you want to be. In the mirror, you see the reflection of the free you, the secure you, the enabled you. So you believe money really is those things. You see those powers when you look at money. But it's just a mirror. an optical illusion. We project the identities we seek onto money, and as if by magic, that's the power money takes on for us. Our stories about money affect our behavior. When we have positive stories about money, we do our best to pursue it. Subconsciously, we are trying to find those identities we seek. On the other hand, if we have negative stories about money, then subconsciously we try to repel it. Find someone who thinks money is something bad, and you'll probably find they don't have much money. I have a friend who started a not-for-profit initiative in a developing country. They needed money to buy equipment, so I gave her a small donation in cash in a greeting card when I ended my visit there. The reaction on her face was priceless and awful. It was like I'd handed her something truly disgusting. They didn't want to take it. Their story about money? It's evil. That explained everything about how money was in her life. So how about millionaire Laura with her positive stories about money and at the same time a belief that money is dirty? She experienced an effect like a washing machine. She attracted money towards her, then repelled it away again. Like rain falling on her outstretched hands and dripping off her fingers. All of this was happening outside her awareness. If she ever made it to the liquidity event, which is doubtful since the money will probably not linger long enough to create enduring value, then she'd probably find all of that disappears too. Where our stories come from. Like so many of our unconscious beliefs, our stories about money, remember, they're really stories about ourselves and our identity, usually come from our upbringing. Yes, blame the parents, but don't hold it against them. They got it from their upbringing, just like you. I have a clear memory as a child being sat down with my two sisters by my mom and dad and told that money was going to be tight. We wouldn't be able to have everything we wanted. There was this air of fear, of insecurity about it, and it appeared to be centered around money. So no wonder that my own story about money became about security, like so many other people. An illuminating exercise you can do in a spare half hour is writing your own money life story. It's a timeline of your memories of money, from the first time you remember money existing to all the key events in your life when money was in the picture. Earning, spending, saving, borrowing, stealing, finding, or losing it. The conflicts and times of satisfaction. Any moments of guilt, jealousy, frustration, or even sickness around money. As you review your story, note down what the money represented at each stage. As you do this, you'll quickly realize that you're actually telling a very personal story about who you wanted to be and who you were afraid to be, all leading up to the person you are today. The money is a mirror of your identity. Mastering our stories. If you've read this far, then perhaps you've already taken the first step into a new relationship with money. Now you understand what money really is and how it works. You probably have some idea of what stories you have about money, and maybe you can even spot where in your past they come from. The next step is to reclaim the powers you are projecting onto money. To know that you've always had those powers and always will, completely independently of money. To rejig your mental circuitry, you need to give your subconscious mind a chance to decouple money from the identity you seek. You can do this by repeating a simple phrase. Here's an example for the ever-popular story that money is security. Try saying this out loud, even if your rational brain believes it's a lie. Just give it a go. I am secure with and without money. I am secure with and without money. I am secure with and without money. Repeat it a few times and notice how you experience it in your body. Do you resist it? If so, where? In your chest, gut, throat, head, or somewhere else? How do you experience the feeling in your body? Tightness? Pain? A churning sensation? As you repeat it, you might start to feel something shift, like something's becoming unblocked or shaken off. Don't worry if you don't feel anything change. It might take a few tries, or you may need to revisit it over months or years. Sometimes there are other stories which need to pop up first, so you can get at the deeper stories beneath. Keep repeating the phrases and exploring your stories in this way. See if you feel some ease emerging. Even if the phrase feels like a big lie, consider this. It could be the most useful, powerful lie you have at your disposal. Decoupling the identities we seek from money is powerful, but only half the process. Real transformation comes when you also reclaim the opposite of the identity you seek. This means becoming okay with being insecure, trapped, disabled, violent, or whatever awkward, repulsive identity you feel the most aversion to. Reclaiming the identities you fear. To reclaim these opposites, there's a different phrase to repeat out loud. Just as before, try saying it even if you think it's a lie. And keep tuning in to how you experience it in your body. The phrase is, I'm insecure and it's okay. I am insecure and it's okay. I am insecure and it's okay. In this phrase, you can substitute the word insecure for whatever identity you would most like to avoid. Notice how it feels to say it, and over time, you might feel something shift as you begin to accept that it really is okay to be insecure sometimes. You can have fun with this and up the ante. Move on to, I'm insecure and it's good. Then, I'm insecure and I fucking love it. Indulge yourself. Allow yourself to accept and be the thing you resist. I've watched people do this, and with a physical shake of their shoulders, they finally release themselves from the aversion. They allow themselves to be a version of themselves that has always been a taboo. It's a real liberation. And again, even if it doesn't work for you right away, you can file it away as a very useful lie you can tell yourself. Life without giving our power away to money. When you've been able to reclaim your projections, it can feel like a superpower. Yet actually, what you have really done is just remove the power of an unhelpful superstition. Without that superstition, you're all set to live a far more creative life. This is because you can see a great lie of the industrial age for what it is. The lie that says you have to earn your living. The lie that says there's a linear path from work to earning money to being fulfilled. Instead, a creative life is one centered around having ideas and realizing them. The creative process itself is the means to being fulfilled and having your needs met in life, including your financial needs. Money isn't a middleman. You probably know people who live this way. Often they aren't the richest people you know because they don't waste precious time chasing money for its own sake, or in a belief they need it to be creative. Instead, they live more like artists, dreaming, nurturing ideas, and realizing them. Money finds ways to flow in and out of their life, always in service of their ideas, not as the master. People who live this way are attractors. The resources they need to realize their ideas gravitate towards them because of the passion they have for them. In life, especially a creative one, there will be times where you will need access to the full repertoire of identities, the good ones and the bad ones. Think of method actors and artists who have no inhibition about playing any character they need to be so they can create their art. Embrace it all. You may ask whether it's safe to accept and integrate the supposedly darkest and dangerous identities. Yet what this process gives you is the ability to be more conscious and use all of them lovingly. You can use the identities when they are needed, not letting them bubble away under the surface only to burst through at a time when it doesn't serve you. Charles Davies, who first introduced me to Koenig's work on money, has a lovely metaphor for this. Imagine your body is split lengthwise down the middle. One side is fully alive. You can feel it, access it, control it, and use it consciously. The other side is in the dark, unfeeling and unconscious. Now ask yourself, which hand would you like the chainsaw to be in? Oh, okay, I guess that's Tim. Tom Nixon runs money workshops based on the ideas here and also coaches individuals on their unique situation with money, guiding them towards being the most creative, fulfilled version of themselves. He's also the founder of Maptio, an online tool for people building creative organizations without traditional management hierarchy. Contact Tom if you would like to organize a money workshop for your friends or community, or if you would like some one-on-one coaching on your relationship with money. Peter Koenig is perhaps the world-leading expert on the nature of money and the human relationship to it. He developed the theory of money and the reclamation process I've described here, and wrote the book 30 Lies About Money. I've been fortunate to have him as a teacher, and I practice Koenig's work with his blessing. Charles Davies introduced me to Peter's work and has developed his own process inspired by it called Identity Yoga. All right, and that's a wrap.